Hi everybody, this is Michael. It's August 1st, 2010, 3:23 p.m. Let's see here. So, got some good news finally on the lap band front. I have chosen Dr. Terry Simpson of the Southwest Weight Loss Clinic as my surgeon, and I have my first consultation appointment with him and a coordinator on August 26th. It's going to be an all-day event almost, and I will be posting after that point to let you know how things go. It's good that I'm doing this because I was starting to procrastinate and I was kind of down. I think I told you earlier that my chosen surgeon isn't available, or isn't the Shea Hospital and the Aetna don't have an agreement right now, so I had to choose another surgeon. But Dr. Terry Simpson seems to be highly recommended, and I don't know, I think I'm going to be happy with them. I did their online seminar regarding surgery, and I spoke with one of the coordinators on the phone, and I think it's going to work out okay. It's down in Phoenix. I was hoping for Shea Hospital because they're just up the street from me, but I think this will be okay too. So I'm going to finally bite the bullet, and even though I don't have financing yet, I'm going to go through with it because I was starting to waffle on things, and that's not good because it's too important. I also had some bad news about my knee, some arthritis, degeneration, and some other things too. X-rays did not come out good. But I enjoy story times, and my job as a youth librarian too much, so it's worth the pain. Hopefully the knee can hold out until I have the weight loss surgery, and see if we can get that done, and hopefully losing weight will help my knee before I have to have surgery on that too, or a permanent brace. I'm wearing a regular brace right now. So yeah, so that's good news. So I'm actually moving forward with that. Also, I promised in my last video blog that I would do some book reviews. So I'm going to pull up some things I've been reading. I read Eclipse recently. One of my favorite Stephanie Meyer's books. This is part 3 in the Twilight Saga. Things actually happen in this one. Plus, there's a lot of backstories. I like backstories and character development. So this is probably my favorite book in this series. Although Twilight was also pretty good. New Moon. I wish I could have read book 3 without reading New Moon, but unfortunately things happen in that that I wouldn't have known about going into Eclipse here. So it was almost worth it going through New Moon. Obviously not my favorite book. I also read Breaking Dawn, the 4th book in this series. That was probably the most disappointing book in the series I've read, and probably one of the most disappointing books I've read in the last 10-15 years. Like I said, in Eclipse, there's a lot of backstories, a lot of stuff happening, and some action, some things that finally make a difference in the world. And in Breaking Dawn, Bella goes from her whining routine, which really made it hard to get through New Moon, and she starts lamenting. Not as bad as her whining, but a lot of things happen in that one too. 400 pages leading up to a battle that unfortunately never happened. So 400 pages approximately of them getting ready for a fight, getting vampires from all over the world to come and witness this whole event, and explaining everybody's powers, and they get to the battle, and there's a standoff for about 100 pages, and then everyone just leaves. So it was the most depressing, I felt so let down at the end of it. I mean, not that I always need a battle sequence, but when you have that many pages leading up to a final confrontation battle, to just, everyone walk away, was pretty bad. And then the final chapter, which is right after that, was one of the weakest endings to a book I've ever read. Extremely disappointed. I wish I could just read just book 1 and book 3 in this series. I would say, read book 1, Twilight, and then stop. You need New Moon stuff to get Eclipse, and Eclipse was a great book, but it wasn't worth it. And then Breaking Dawn definitely was not worth it, especially just due to the ending. I'm trying not to put too many spoilers in my reviews here. I just gotta say that I wasn't pleased. I mean, she's a pretty good author, but she's really not consistent in the writing. There's also a lot of stuff in Breaking Dawn. I felt myself anyway that she was watching a lot of movies like Underworld and Bram Stoker's Dracula and a lot of others. She did a lot of movies while she was watching this, and I could see all the elements from everybody else's vampire movies that were thrown into her Breaking Dawn. So I was a little disappointed in that. Another book I'm reading the Pendragon series by D.J. McHale, and I finished Pilgrims of Rain. Great book in the series, one of my favorite in the series. This is book 8. There's some really interesting twists and turns in this one with regards to Bobby and the different territories that he's on. Let me hold up the cover for you. And I just really enjoyed this one a lot. The twist, I mean, usually a book can't catch me by surprise because I'm always thinking ahead of the stuff. There were some really interesting twists and turns in this one, I gotta admit. I really enjoyed it a lot. These are very brief reviews, by the way, because I can go into a lot more detail, but I only have a limited amount of time, and I might actually do some written reviews too. But it'll be later on. So, next book I read this one about a day and a half. Brains, a Zombie Memoir by Robin Becker. This is her first book. I really enjoyed it. This is one of my favorite books I've read in probably the last couple of years. It's a book from the zombies' point of view. So there's a virus, the zombies walking around now. Some of them still have cognitive skills. So the author of this one, this is kind of his diary because he can still read and write. Can't talk or do much of anything else. He actually meets up with some other zombies, one that can repair other zombies, who's really good with her knitting, she's a nurse. Another one who's a former soldier who can actually talk but can't read. And then another one can actually shoot a gun and a bow, crossbow, and all kinds of fun stuff. But this is the first book I've read from the zombies' point of view, and it's very funny. If you like the books about like vampires and zombies and werewolves and stuff like that, this is a great zombie book. It's a lighter one. It's only 170 pages, but it's really a light read, and it's really funny. So I enjoyed it. I highly recommend Brains, a Zombie Memoir. Those are the books I finished in the last few weeks, just getting you caught up on those. I'm reading book 9 of the Pendragon series now, and Susan Pfeffer's third book in her Life as We Know It series too. Those are both pretty good. So I'll review those once I have them finished. One thing I do want to say is that I've been watching stuff also. I just finished watching on the recommendation of someone at work, the Life on Mars, the UK version. So this is the British version. I did not like the US version at all. I saw maybe 2 or 3 episodes on TV, couldn't get into it at all. I saw the UK version, which is both seasons, 2 seasons available on a DVD at the Scottsdale Public Library. One of my all-time favorite series right now. The final episode of series 2, where they actually ended the show and stuff, one of my all-time favorite and most satisfying endings of any TV show or movie I've ever seen. So it's one of my all-time favorites now. The ending, I like the BBC series a lot because they end it on a high note, whereas the US TV shows will, do it to death until no one is watching anymore. But they left it on a high note, and they actually have an ending rather than a cliffhanger, because they got canceled season before. So I highly recommend this. If you didn't like the US version, like I didn't, give the UK version a try, because this was a fantastic series. The characters are better, they're more interesting, and the ending, because you actually get an ending, is by far the best ending, and I think you'll agree with me on that too. So do that one. So, alright, that are my few mini reviews. So I will go ahead and I will do another update probably around the 27th or so to let you know how the lamp band surgery went. Right? Until then, have a great day.